I'm Kayla.
I'm Anna. This is Laughs and Legacies.
Hey, welcome back to Laughs and Legacies. Just as a quick reminder, don't forget to check out our giveaway. We have 1 week left before it ends, and then we'll announce it afterwards who's the winner. So that's on our Instagram. All the rules are on there. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this because remember we had a part 1 and this is part 2 of My Kids Did This. And of course, I'm just going to start with one of me. My mom reminded me of it, so I did this. So growing up, we've always lived near most of our cousins. And between my mom and her sister, so our aunts, they lived within a 5-mile radius, and we did lots of sleepovers with each other. And we would hang out all the time. So one of the times that I went and slept over at my Aunt Norma's house, we went, we had fun. I think you were with me too, but can't remember. So when we came home, because Norma just dropped us off at the house, I ran straight up to my room. And then I came down a few minutes later. My mom was just sitting in the kitchen, and when she looked at me, she just, "What did you do?" I had half of my hair pulled up into 2 little ponytails, and the rest of it was hanging down my back. The ponytails were now very, very short. I totally remember this.
You do?
I do. Well, like, parts of it. So my hair used to go all the way down to the bottom of my back, like, pretty much at my bum. It was very long. It was very pretty. I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't remember this part, but I had told my mom that Auntie Norma cut it.
You dirty dog.
That she had found gum in my hair and that she cut it. And my mom immediately thought, my sister would never just go straight to chopping hair off. She would probably try to use like peanut butter or an ice or something else. She probably would have just sent me home with gum in my hair and let my mom figure it out, which is totally true. She would have. So then my mom walked up to my room, and sure enough, in the garbage was all of my hair.
You devious child.
I'm not sure why I did that. I'm not sure why I cut it. I'm not sure why I lied, but I did. And it's kind of hilarious, but when my mom sent the story to us, like, hey, share this, she's like, you just tell the rest of it. And I was like, there's not much else to say. You cut my hair to match. It was so short. It was so ugly. I remember that haircut and I hated it. So I never cut my hair again. I very well learned my lesson.
That is such a classic My Kid Did This story. That and anything related to poop.
At least I didn't shave it. I've seen so many videos of little baby, like young girls, just thinking and shaving their head off.
Oh, jeez. I never cut my own hair, but I always cut my stuffed animals' hair. I always had horses, and I
remember that.
And they always had short hair, and I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Because it was like a mohawk at that point.
Yeah, I was like, oh, my horses are so cool.
I think it's just funny. I remember that.
Yeah, Mom submitted another story from when her kid was younger. This is our older brother, Andrew. It's called Dip in the Lake. Andrew was about 3 years old, and Kayla was a baby. This is written from Mom's perspective. My brother-in-law, Mike... Wait, why am I not reading this right? My brother-in-law, Mike's sister, came to... What?
Because it's Mike's her brother-in-law.
Oh, this is so confusing.
My brother-in-law, Mike's sister, there should be a comma.
Whoops.
Continue.
Came into town, so we went to hang out at the park with her. We went to the Freestone Park. It has a huge lake and bridges all over. We were having a picnic by the side of the lake on a blanket. It was a gorgeous day. We always would bring bread to feed the ducks. Andrew was over feeding the ducks, and I kept telling him to come back. Of course, Andrew is so obedient, and
seriously,
and did not come back. I looked at Mike's sister and said, if he falls in, I'm not going to get him. We laughed. Oh no.
Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it is the stinkiest, dirtiest man-made park lake ever. Seconds after I said that, Andrew fell in. I ran and reached over and pulled him out of the lake. He did not know how to swim. He was okay, of course, but we had to go home right then because he was wet and I didn't have a towel.
And he probably took a big gulp of that nasty water.
Don't say that. And mostly because he smelled like dead fish.
So gross.
I could not get the smell out of the car seat. It was so bad.
Ugh. It really is the grossest lake ever. But I do love going over there to feed the ducks. There's so many.
That is disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah. That one's more of a lighthearted story, but Andrew has a lot of good stories and mishaps with water. He drowned once.
I mean, he was okay.
He's okay now, but Andrew is so funny. He has a lot of good stories.
He was a naughty one. Our next story is from our Auntie Heather. And, she didn't give it a title, but...
This one's kind of sad, but it's, like, really good. It ends very cute. So.
It is kind of sad. I know. I was reading it beforehand. I was like,
But it is my kids did this, so yeah. It's good. It's good.
I'm just going to read it from her perspective. She wrote it pretty well. So, one time we went to Disneyland with some friends, and we left the park to get something to eat. We had also bought tickets to see Fantasmic. Great show. Anyways, which cost a ton of money, and we were not going to miss it. So when we headed back to the park, the line was so far back it had almost reached California Adventure. I've been to Disneyland so many times with my kids, but I never said anything to the fact of, if you get lost, meet here, which is a really smart thing to do. So, because it was extra crowded, more crowded than it normally was for them, she decided to do this. So she got all her kids together and said, if you get lost, meet me in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle in the middle where the statue of Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse is. That was the end of it. So, as we were entering the park, I looked all around and I could not find Landon anywhere. I started screaming his name and all of a sudden we all panicked because it was just so crowded and we could not find him. I went and told one of the employees that I had lost my son, and they got on the walkie-talkie, and all of a sudden, all the areas to leave the park were shut down. They were quick, and I think that is so cool, that they could be so quick to just shut it down. Nobody can leave with this child. I ran out, and I was screaming his name, and everyone was screaming his name. Not one person in line asked me, what does he look like, or what was going on, but there was just sheer panic in my face, and I ran back and forth from the line and into the park, and not one of the employees asked for my ID. But I didn't care anyways, because I was just looking for my son. I told someone that was with us to run to the statue to see if Landon went there. I stayed by the gate, and I think Lane and our friend Marcus, Lane is her husband, and their friend Marcus ran down Main Street as fast as they could, with a super crazy crowd to see if they could find him. All of a sudden, I get a call from my husband telling me that they found him. Apparently, Landon had dropped one of his gloves and didn't hear us calling him and just walked straight to the statue. While he was there, people were talking to him and he wouldn't answer them. Good boy, Landon. As a little kid, to just not answer strangers, I think that's pretty cool. I lost my spot. Walked straight there. And he wouldn't answer them, so they went and got a Disney employee, and they asked him if he was lost. And Landon somehow remembered Lane's cell phone number as this little kid, and they called Lane and told him that he was found and where to meet them. I could not believe that Landon even knew Lane's cell number, and I can't remember how old he was, but I know he was young enough that I was surprised, and that he even knew his number in the first place. So all the employees were notified and got to Landon as fast as I could. When I got there, I hugged him and I just started to cry. I was so grateful that he listened to me and that I actually came up with that plan. Not knowing that was going to happen, of course. So we go over to see the show, and while we were watching it with our friend Marcus, this took a turn. Our friend Marcus was throwing up in the garbage can sideways, which is difficult to do. He was so upset that that he got sick. Wow. He was just so upset about it that his son got sick about his son that he got sick and was throwing up. Twice I have lost Landon, once at the zoo and once at Disneyland, and it was terrifying both times, and I thought it was sweet that our friend was just as upset as we were. I know that's not a very happy story, but I will never forget that. I know. I'm like trying not to tear up, because if I start tearing up, I'm gonna like you will not understand when I'm speaking, but it just makes me think, if my kid, I will always do that now. I've heard a lot of stories like that. I will always tell my kids, go here if you are lost. Yeah. Do not talk to anybody unless they are an employee of wherever we're at.
Yeah. It's so easy to get lost, too.
Sad. And it would be so scary as a little kid, especially in a big crowd like that.
I got lost at the JDRF walk. There's thousands and thousands of people there at Tempe Town Lakes, right? There's Tempe Town Lakes and thousands of people there for the JDRF walk. We used to go there every year growing up, and I was on a scooter because they, I
forgot about that.
Yeah, our parents let us bring scooters because we didn't want to walk the whole time, and they were just walking so slow, and I just wanted to do tricks and move around and stuff like that, and I was going in a circle, and then when I went in my circle, I turned around, and then there was just tons of people. My family was gone. And I wasn't worried or anything. I was like, oh, I just gotta go find them. And I was just looking around. I couldn't find them. I saw police officers, and I was like, maybe I should ask them. I was like, nah, I'll find them. I kept looking, and then finally I went to I was like, let me just go to the entrance. So I went to the entrance, and Mom is sitting there. She sees me, and she's bawling, and tears and mascara is running down her face, and she's like, Anna. And I just remember going like, what the freak is wrong with you guys? And Mom thought that someone stole me, which is totally reasonable, but to me, I'm like, I'm fine, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And
it's not even an enclosed area or anything, so you could have literally just walked off and be gone.
Yeah. And I remember the drive home, I was mad at my mom for being so sad. So I was like, why
are you sad? Stop it.
Well, I was like, I didn't do anything. I felt bad. I felt really bad.
Oh.
But it was scary. Like, afterwards.
I don't think I ever got lost.
That's good. You got lost. No, you liar. You got lost in a toy store.
Well, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Anyways, the last story is one more of Auntie Carol's. Last week we shared a ton of Auntie Carol. This one is our last one. It's pretty good. So one of her daughters, she had a school dance. And they usually get a group of people together for a day date. So they had a group of friends of 50 people.
Not so many.
Yeah, I can imagine. They split it up into 4 different groups, and they decided to do a video cam scavenger hunt. So you had to go to a certain place, and you had to do a certain thing, and you had to take videos of each other just doing these silly things, right? At the end of the night, they all got back together. They met at the daughter's house, Carol's daughter's house, and they wanted to watch all those videos from the scavenger hunt. They were going through, and all of a sudden, Carol and Mike from the other room hear all the kids screaming, like, ah! Where did you go to get that? And one of their kids, like one of their sons, like runs out and goes and tells us, like, Mom, Dad, like, and he tells them what's going on. What?
So funny.
They were going through the videos, just putting up on the screen or whatever. And one of the videos that came up was a birthing video that was previously on the camera from one of the aunties.
And not even just like a side view. It was full-blown birthing view.
Straight on of, I'm not going to describe, but as you can imagine, it was a great view. And the kids were like
terrifying.
They were like freaking out, and the kids kept asking, where did you go in the scavenger hunt to get that video?
So mad. I'm like crying. Could you imagine with all your friends?
We had to end it off on that note.
I hope everyone's laughing as much as we are. I just think that's hilarious.
Those kids, though, 50 people traumatized in one night.
Honestly.
Beautiful. That's our last story for this episode, and that concludes our My Kids Did This.
We will definitely be sharing this prompt again in the
Yes.
future because we know we're going to end up with more and more stories.
Oh, so good.
We love naughty kids. Always makes for a good laugh. But awesome. Yeah, we'll catch you on next week. And again, like I said at the beginning, don't forget that giveaway. And have a good one.
See ya.